Welcome to Straight from the Training Ground, sponsored by Uno Zero, makers of the most comfortable cleats in the game. All boots handmade in Italy. They offer free shipping and returns in the U.S. Use code SFTTG10 for 10% discount on all orders. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the people out in their communities doing beautiful things. We are very honored today to have Niall McCabe joining us, a midfielder originally from Dublin, Ireland, who currently plays for Louisville City in the USL Championship. If you're unfamiliar with that, the USL Championship is the second tier of professional football in the United States, one level below the MLS. Lou City is currently sitting in first place atop the table with 56 points. They have been to the conference finals 9 years in a row. They're the only USL team to win back-to-back USL Cups in 2017, 2018. Their franchise originally started in 2014. They've had 6 players called up to their respective national teams over that time. And Niall, you are the only member from the inaugural team. You're the longest standing member on the team, and you have over 200 appearances. So we're really excited. We really appreciate it. I know you're very busy. You're in the middle of your season, but thanks a lot for hopping on here with us.
Yeah, no, absolutely delighted. Happy to do it.
Well, we appreciate your time. Niall, first I'd like to just get into, tell us a little bit about your background. You know, you're originally from Dublin, Ireland, growing up around football and that kind of an environment. And then how in the world did you end up in Louisville City?
Yeah, obviously where I grew up, football is the main. It's the bread and butter. It's what everyone is into growing up. So I don't think I really had too much of a choice. Growing up, everyone was engrossed in it. Such a big part of the culture. Um, and then as soon as you can kind of walk and get out and about on the street, you're kind of playing football, and yeah, that's kind of where it all started. Remember just playing football from a very early age on the streets with my friends, and then as I got older and the opportunity came to come out to America for on a scholarship. So I actually ended up in a very, very small school called Young Harris College in North Georgia. Something like 800 students or something like that. So it was very different from Dublin. A bit of a culture shock going to rural North Georgia from Dublin. So that was a bit of a culture shock. And then I had 4 great years there under Mark McCabe. And then when I graduated, I got asked to come to Louisville, and I've been here ever since.
That's great. That's great. So I'm going to pull up the Lou City website, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But as the longest standing member of the team, I'm sure that there's been, some bumps along the way in the early goings, maybe, a very successful team now. But can you tell us a little bit about, some of the difficulties maybe early on? The team just started in 2014. What were those kind of things like as a player?
Yeah, to be fair to the ownership group and stuff like that, they did what they could with the limitations that they had. Obviously, we played at Slugger Field, which was the local professional
Yeah.
baseball stadium. So they converted that to make it uh, acceptable for us and stuff like that. But obviously, there's some stuff that's out of your control when you're using a facility that's primarily used by somebody else. So you're kind of at the mercy of their schedule. So we had to work around some scheduling stuff, and but for the most part, it was mainly just that. As far as like on the field stuff, the James O'Connor, he was the coach at the time. They did an amazing job at making sure everything was professional as possible. And really, the only bumps I can really think of was stuff that really, really was out of their control, like the stadium, for example, or scheduling and stuff like that. I really think they tried to mitigate all those potential hazards as best they could, and to see the growth of the club now, it's crazy.
Well, that was my next thing I'd like to ask you is it's got to be kind of cool. You're in a very unique situation. You've been there from the start. So as a player, can you tell everybody a little bit about, um, it's got to probably mean a little bit more to you. It's always nice to join a good team and win trophies and be successful, but to be there from the start and to see that, and now, for anyone out there that's watching this, Lou City has excellent facilities now. They're one of the only teams I know of in the country that has a men's side, a professional women's side. You share a soccer-specific stadium now. I've been by the stadium. It's a magnificent, facility. You have training facilities that are world class, academy teams all the way down. So, what has that been like as a player? It's got to mean a little bit more, be special to have been there the whole time and see it grow into what it is in the whole community of Louisville.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Honestly, when I first joined the team, I was really just wanting my foot in the professional door. I didn't know what was going to happen in the future. I couldn't imagine that I'd be here, 10 years and stuff like that. So when seeing it from the start, it's pretty special. There's not many places like it in the states, and I knew the ownership group and the head coach James. They were really determined to get off to a good start and stuff like that. Everyone was new. The whole team was new, so there wasn't really any. I didn't really feel like an outsider or the new. Everyone was new at that point. So
Oh
certainly,
yeah.
there was a great team culture that was set right from the start, and I believe that that's continued. There's remnants of that even present today. So yeah, everyone was kind of new, and the standards were really high. And then the ownership group, they talked about building the stadium and stuff like that. Um, I couldn't picture the scale of what they were talking about. I'm sure they knew what they wanted to talk about. I couldn't imagine that. You know, and
As a player, did you think it would really happen, or was it one of those things you're just like, yeah?
I always say yes and no. No, because I felt it'd be something you know more along the lines of maybe Phoenix Rising or something like a stadium, something like that.
Hmm.
But to do what they did, and on the yes side of the question, it's like I know how determined and driven that ownership group and is, and when they say they're going to do something, they'll do it. So that's the yes and the no. Um, I know they want to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to be the best and have the best. So they really do. Put their money where their mouth is and show up and build these amazing facilities, not just for us, but you can see the impact it's having now around not just the city but the state. The amount of kids that's out there now on every day of the week now you're seeing it. Places packed full of kids playing that without that may not have the access to play the sport. So it's amazing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And it must be good as a player, I'm sure, to know. Obviously, your job is, to play and take care of business on the pitch, but to know that you have the support of an ownership group like that, I'm sure, has to help you and your teammates and the culture. When like you said, they're going to follow up and they're going to do everything they can to provide you with what you need to be successful.
Yeah, they're as competitive as us.
Mm.
They want to win. And they'll give us whatever it takes for us to win, whether it be nice training facility, nice stadium, to amazing food every day, breakfast, lunch, to recovery tools that we have available, to everything that we have is geared for us to be the best we can be on the pitch. So yeah, they're super. It's super amazing to have them backing us.
What, as a player, what are a couple of the things? I don't want to put you on the spot here, but what are a couple of the things that you're the most proud of, as being there as long as you have been, on or off the pitch? What are a couple of things you're the most proud of at Lou City being a part of?
I think that honestly to stay here. Obviously, I would love the chance to play, higher level and stuff like that. But this team is incredibly competitive every year, and we've seen, throughout the time, if you're not kind of at the level, you won't be here very long.
Yeah.
So to be there for so long reinforces that I'm doing the right things and I'm playing at a good level, and yeah, to keep that consistency for a long period of time. Super proud of that. And then yeah, just obviously the trophies as well. Being a part of that is brings a smile.
That always helps. Yeah, yeah, that always helps. Um, so as a player, one of the things I love talk to you about. I've been excited to learn more about Lou City, and what really drew me to the organization is not only what they do, like you said, they're high standards for success on the pitch and for you guys as players and the women's side, but what they do in the community. As a player, how aware, how involved are you in some of those things? I'm sure being there as long as you have been, you're probably one of those players that are out in the community doing those things. But I'll run through some of those things here in a minute. But just as a player, what does that mean to you? I'm sure sometimes it's maybe difficult in the middle of your season to go out and do those things, but it's got to be cool to reach out in the community and see, like you said, so many kids grow up and now being out there on the training facilities playing and knowing that you have an impact in the community.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. It's amazing to see what from the very start. A big part of what we wanted to do was be out there, active in the community. I remember, year one we were showing out a lot. Whatever events the city had planned, we were kind of the new kids on the block, and yeah, we did want to be a community club. A lot of teams say that.
Yeah.
You actually have to get out and do it, So we were more than happy to get out and about, and whatever appearances we had, in the early days, just trying to build and show our faces around to where we have now, the foundation, and you know hospital visits and all that other stuff. It's really amazing to see what the team has become in the city and what the players mean to so many people. It's very humbling. It's very special.
Yeah, it has to be. And one of the things I love in all the research I've done here for Lou City and looking at your website is this right here, providing access to soccer for all kids in our community. And if you have a chance out there, everybody look up Louisville City's website. Their statement is to ensure, their goal, I'm sorry, is to ensure soccer is accessible to all kids, regardless of financial background. And obviously that's a huge thing for me and what we stand for here on our podcast. You've come from the UK where there's a different vibe. There isn't really the pay to play and the club scene and all those kind of things. And that's something I'm very passionate about. We're very passionate about here. It's fantastic to see. And you mentioned the organization. I looked up last year, the Lou City organization raised $250,000, and they use that towards scholarships to help get kids involved in the younger teams, the youth teams. I saw they give away free tickets to kids and groups of kids every game. You have a kickback program. Another unique thing that I think is fantastic is Lou City has a partnership with Toyota to provide transportation for kids and their families who, can't maybe do those kind of things, to play club and be involved with those things. Um, that's just tremendous. And like you said, to me, that sets them apart. A lot of people say those things, but to be out and do those kind of things and actually be out in the community speaks for itself, not only for you, but for the team.
Yeah, like I said, it's one thing to call yourself a community club, but if you're not out and about helping out, it's meaningless, So I have to, George Davis, he was a former player here for years, and upon retirement, he became involved with the foundation, and he does a incredible job raising those funds, and yeah, it all goes with partnerships with Toyota. They provide us with vehicles to, provide pick up kids for practice or all that sort of stuff, and they give tickets and cleats and equipment, and just try and get soccer in schools that maybe wouldn't have it normally. So uniforms, cleats, balls, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're trying to grow the game as best we can. Um, and otherwise where kids wouldn't really have access, or
Yeah.
just would have heard of soccer but wouldn't really ever dream of playing it. Now, talking to George and stuff like that, the amount of kids that's playing sport or have introduced a soccer program in their school is crazy numbers now.
That's tremendous. And like I said, it's got to be great as a player to not just have success on the pitch, but know the impact that you're going to have in the community, because that's going to last a long time. I know you're very busy. And again, we're very happy to have you on here during the middle of your season. Just to fill everybody in again, Lou City sitting top of the table, first place. So their next game, you have a game this Friday, I believe, 7:30. They can catch that on ESPN Plus. And real quick before we get you out of here, Niall, what are some goals, things you're looking for within the team for the rest of the season?
I think, one thing for us, we've won a lot. 9 conference finals. It's crazy numbers, but we've never actually won the supporters shield. So I think that's one for us that we'd like to tick the box off, and then obviously with the season we've had, the big one at the end is always the goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, Niall McCabe joining us from Louisville City. Niall, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Best of luck to you and everybody at Lou City. Keep up the great work. Just a fantastic organization. And I just want to add, too, as someone, who I grew up, here in the United States, it's fantastic to me, I think, to see the coverage over the last year or two on TV that's happened for you, your team, USL games. There's 3 or 4 years ago, there were never any games on them, as I'm sure, but it's great to see these networks and streaming services now. I love watching some of those games, and it's great for kids just to have the access to see that, but it's got to be great as a player. So congratulations, man. Keep up all the great work, and we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
Nah, no worries. Happy to do it.
Thanks a lot, man. We appreciate it. Until next time, straight from the training ground.